host, or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
I got coffee. Coffee.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Hot. I like the way he says hot. Damn good coffee and hot. I'm looking a little red, a little shiny, I have to admit. Good morning, folks. What the hell day is it? It's Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. Looking still a little gray and bullshitty here. You know what? I want my money back for this summer. Where did I get my money back? I hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are. I just got read only on Twitter. I was on Twitter and I saw that Craig Johnson out in ABQ has some UFO shit going on. Very interesting, cool stuff. I'm a UFO, but I love seeing that stuff. Now I'm not a guy. I'm not a Michael Shane who swears aliens exist and are coming here and they, ancient aliens and all that stuff. But I do love wondering what it is and trying to figure it out, and just the mystery of it all, and some really intriguing video. And it was shot on a phone, not by some professional or not by some hoaxer, but by somebody I know who I don't think would ever do a hoax like that. Not inclined to be a hoaxer. So it's very cool footage. Maybe we'll get Craig on sometime to talk about that, and maybe we'll find out what it is. Who knows? ABQ is it's an area where if I were from Uranus, let's say, if I just came from Uranus, I'd want to visit because there's a lot of sciencey shit going on out there, Los Alamos and all that kind of stuff. Anyway. Great day today. Great day to be alive. Every day's a great day to be alive, right? And let me tell you, it's a good thing. I said this yesterday. I'm going to keep saying it. Serendipity. Oh, I love that word, serendipity. I don't know what the fuck it means, but I love saying it. Being in Twitter jail this week, what a blessing. What a fucking blessing, man. With all the Supreme Court decisions. Now, yesterday, the Supreme Court was sided with a football coach who wants to pray with his team, and they're allowing prayer in school. When I was in school, we used to pray. We used to pray for the teachers to drop dead, and I think that should still be allowed. I mean, if you're going to we're living, again, we're living in an era where we're seeing Christian Sharia law being shoved down our throats in America. And again, I know I'm a broken record, but if not for my wife, I would leave this country. It's going to fucking be a mess beyond a hot mess in just a very short time. Again, I have no problem with religion. I have no problem with it at all. You want to, I shouldn't say that. Organized religion pisses me off, but I have no problem with if that's what you want to do. But shoving it down our throats and saying this has to be a Christian nation. Sorry, that's not what Christ would have done. Yeah, they're not Christians. I'm going to remind people we have a T-shirt called "You're Not a Christian," and do I have that available? Yes, here it is. You're Not a Christian T-shirt. It's available on minddogtv.com. Shows an Easter bunny holding an AR-15 for people who know nothing about what their faith is supposed to be about. And I'm not preaching that you should be a Christian. I'm just saying if you call yourself a Christian, you should know what the fuck the holiday, the faith is about the holiday. Well, the holiday being Easter. Easter, their most sacred holiday, is not about a fucking bunny. And Jesus certainly wasn't about fucking automatic rifles. And now it's going to backfire on them because, listen, the same fucking people who want you to pray to Jesus in school don't want you to pray to Allah, but you can't enforce that, man. You can't enforce that. If there's freedom of prayer in school, you could be fucking praying to Satan. And it should be interesting to see how this fucking rolls out. But this fucking Supreme Court is off the rails trying to shove phony Christianity down all our throats. The next thing Clarence Thomas has written about this. Not trying to hide this at all. He wants to ban gay marriage altogether and ban contraceptives. Same people who are saying no abortion, they want to ban abortion, and that if they can figure a way to ban abortion in all 50 states, blanket ban rape, incest, doesn't matter. Those same people want to also ban contraceptives. It's like the fucking Puritans have taken over. We've gone back 500 years because of these fucking ridiculous people, man. So it's a good thing I'm not on Twitter because I would get banned anyway, but I'd also be so fucking enraged and fucking battling these twits that I might lose my fucking mind. I might have a fucking stroke with these people. So it's a blessing to be off Twitter this week. Speaking of Twitter, Travis Twit. Man, maybe the coffee's not as strong as I thought. Travis Lipsky will be with me around 10 o'clock today. Travis is one of the stars of the movie The Unbookables. He's also an independent filmmaker. I only know him from on Twitter. I mean, I've seen The Unbookables, obviously, and he's not in there for a lot of time anyway. I know he's the guy who threw the bottle at Inman. I know a couple of his jokes from there, but mostly I know him from Twitter. And you can't really know somebody from Twitter. I'm not sure when he's joking. I'm not sure what he's serious about, what he really cares about, and what he's just busting balls about. So, what is Jamie saying? Jamie, welcome. Good to see you here. You're up early. Oh no, you're not up early. You're in fucking. It's late afternoon where you are, wherever the fuck you are. Islamabad or something. Can't remember which state, but a woman gave birth to a stillborn, and the first thing the doctor did was call the police. Wow. No. No. I'm saying no. I said no like 8 times there. No. I don't think that's true. I think you're just making that up, or somebody made that up and put that in some bullshit news story. No. I'm going to say no a few more times. No. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to be able to watch Last Rites live today because they sprung some shit on me that could be historic. It could be just fucking nothing, but it could be historic, and I think I have to watch it live. He's saying genuine. Where'd you read that? No, I'm going to say no a few more times. No. Today, the January 6th committee was not supposed to have any hearings until after July 4th. But they have something came up, announced one yesterday. Surprise witness who could be Eastman, could be Ali Alexander, although he's saying it won't be him, Ali Alexander. Now that would be interesting because Ali Alexander has a chance. He's a loose cannon, as they say. They could get him in there, expecting him to flip on Trump and just totally flip on them, even though he probably has a plea deal because he's been testifying to the grand jury. He's testified to the January 6th committee before. He's been was in front of the grand jury yesterday for 3 hours. But he's one of these guys, and he was on Alex Jones. Alex Jones with the monkeypox last night, and basically reaffirming that the election was stolen and we were doing the right thing. So he's a guy who could flip. It would be interesting to see that testimony. I don't think he's going to be the one, but I'm curious though. Who? Oh, it's in the Guardian. He said. Jamie says that's in the Guardian. Well, I got to look that up. Guardian stillborn. Blah blah blah. Guardian stillborn. Blah blah blah. Guardian stillborn. Blah blah blah. Everybody sing with me. Stillborn arrest. How about that? She was jailed for losing a pregnancy. Her nightmare. It's in the Guardian. But how come it's not in the U.S. newspaper? She was jailed for losing pregnancy. Her nightmare could become more common. Oh, so this is from November 2019. TV stations across California blasted Chelsea Becker's photo on their news editions. The search was on for a troubled 25-year-old woman wanted for murder of her unborn baby. News anchor said, warning viewers not to approach if they spotted her. Like, she's dangerous. She didn't kill it with a gun, did she? She shot herself in the twack? No. Next day, she was asleep in bed at home in bed when officers, Hanford police, arrived. Blah 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 blah. The officer had a large automatic weapon pointed at me and a canine dog sniffing out the twack. Becker, now 28, recalled in a recent interview, walked out and surrendered. 2 months before, Becker had a stillbirth at a California hospital, losing a baby boy at 8 months pregnant. Kings County prosecutor in the Central Valley charged her with murder of a human fetus. That's just stupid. A bad doctor never heard of stillborns. Alleging she had acted with malice because she had been struggling with drug addiction at the hospital, reported meth in her system. Oh, so, yeah, that's a really complicated thing. That's not really abortion related, though. It really isn't. It's about somebody who did not mean to have an abortion. She was obviously going through with the pregnancy, but then feeding a fetus methamphetamine. I don't think she should have been arrested for murder for that. She definitely is, probably needs counseling more than anything, maybe some support, maybe some psychological help. Probably listen, she's already fucked up from meth. Yeah, and then lose a baby on top of it. She's a fucked up psychologically fucked up person and probably needs help more than jail. But I don't think that's an abortion story. I don't think it's even kind of uh I don't even think that's related to the abortion issue. I just think that's a fucked up. This is heartless people not understanding. You charge her with murder? Are you fucking kidding me? Some people just have no soul. And I think the doctor and whoever, the DA or whoever ordered that charge, fuck them. Now I'm all mad at them. I'm mad at everybody. Good morning, Paul. I'm not mad at you. Good morning, Kelly. And good morning, Mike Chavola. I didn't see you up there. Anyway, so Travis Lipsky will be here, and I don't know what to expect from Travis because I really, not on the level of Brendan Walsh, where I don't know when he's serious or not, but almost on that level. I don't know what he really cares about. I don't know. He seems to be conspiratorial, mm, but I don't know if that's a put on or real or what the fuck he thinks about. Because he wrote something that he would. He hated people, not hated. It was against people who say not everything is a conspiracy. And he was putting down people who say not everything is a conspiracy. So that leads me to believe that he thinks everything is a conspiracy. Everything. Me drinking from my coffee cup is a conspiracy. You can't think that. Not everything is a conspiracy. Not denying that there are conspiracies. There are plenty of conspiracies. I can name probably 100 off the top of my head. Um, there are conspiracies, but not everything is a conspiracy. And to say that anybody who says that not everything is conspiracy is just stupid or crazy, well, that seems to indicate that you think everything is a fucking conspiracy. Everything's not a conspiracy. This show is not a conspiracy. I am not a shill for the CIA or the NSA or the FBI or THC or LSD or DMT. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so we'll find out about Travis. I'm a little nervous. I got to admit, I'm a little nervous. A little nervous. Uh, Not like I'm gonna get raided and have guns pointed up my twack. That's just a fucking crazy story. Anyway, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna start with this January 6th thing and see who the mysterious guest witness is. Um, and we'll go from there. And then maybe I'll catch the last rites. Now, the last rites today. Let's face it. If I miss the first 5 hours, there'll still be plenty of show left. I anticipate because it's Carl and Jamie and that guy with the pencils or whatever his name is, Art Boy something. Art Boy. Well, shit. It's the Art Boy. Drunk John put coffee in my promos. It's that guy. What's his name? Bill Bill Blop? Bill Blop? Brock Bropos? Boober de Boop? I'm sorry. Brett Brock. I shouldn't be mean to Brett. I love Brett, but he's got to stop using coffee in his shit because that's gonna piss me off. Um, but let's face it, the three of them are gonna go like, oh, and Kat is gonna be making cocktails with them, and so that's gonna be a potathon in the making. It's gonna go 20 hours. So if I miss the first 5 hours of it, that's just a warm up act. I don't think I'll miss the first 5 hours. Maybe, uh, maybe the first 2 hours tops, hour and a half. But how long will it take them to get to this mystery witness? Well, I gotta see who it is. It could be a historical event, a once in a lifetime thing. You know, what if it's Tiffany Trump taking off her top in front of? Why the fuck am I thinking that? Um, but I can't miss it. Is the point I'm making? Oh, good morning, Kat. You traitor. You last rights crew member. You guys wouldn't even know each other if it weren't for me. It's true. Nobody would know Jamie Dykes if it weren't for me. He'd still be just some obscure. And Carl, nobody'd know Carl if it weren't for me. I get no respect. No respect, I tell you. What the fuck is wrong with me today? The problem is I sleep in like 8-minute segments and I have very severe brain damage. So don't pay attention to anything I say. Um, I'm delirious. I'm fucking delirious. And there isn't coffee strong enough in the world uh, to make me sound rational or intelligent or even here. um, in my Facebook memories this morning, a rant. Woo! Me! Yes, a rant from 8 years ago. It's an interesting rant. I gotta. I feel bad about it now. In hindsight, I'm gonna read you my rant. Well, obviously, there's two rants. One about Twitter suspending me over a Steve Byrne thing. Steve Byrne. Well, I retweeted something that Steve Byrne was on because I was promoting him being on Mind Dog TV, and Twitter suspended me for retweeting his original tweet, but they left his up and didn't give him any bullshit at all. They said all I did was retweet it, and I got suspended for it. It's fucking bizarre. Here's the rant I was looking at. I kind of feel bad about this, but I want to talk about it just a little bit. Says, I had a very mixed night last night. Happy to have enjoyed playing with Bruce Dixon. Bruce is a drummer that subbed with us that night, obviously. And angry at witnessing the most classless act by a musician in more than 40 years of gigging. Imagine a guy walking into someone else's gig with his axe and telling the band to fire someone in the band and hire him because he's much better. Not exaggerating even a little. I'm still pissed about it more than 12 hours later. I told the dude to lose my number, but it doesn't feel like enough. Now, this is what happened. Rockin' 45s were playing at E.B. Elliott's in Freeport, and bass player walked in, a guy who had subbed with us. And he was drunk, but he was coming from an open jam or something, had his bass with him, and he walked over to me, he says, "Your bass player sucks, man. You should fire him and hire me." In the middle of a gig, in the middle of a song, he's telling me this, and I was pissed. And this is somebody he was. Let me say, first of all, he's right. Not that our bass player sucked. He's right that he's much better. He probably was one of the top 5, top 10, easily top 10 musicians I've ever played with or learned from. But that's a low rent act. But I attribute it to him being drunk. I don't think he would have done that, but I feel bad about it. Now, I feel bad about even my anger towards him because he died of brain cancer 2 years later. So maybe that, you got brain cancer, that affects your behavior. I did not know that at the time. What is the message here, children? You are witnessing a fucking breakdown, I'm telling you. Well, the message here is everybody's going through something you have no idea that they're fucking going through. Uh, that's a whole different story, Paul. Wow. Good morning, Paul. Karaoke. No, yeah, I've had that too. Yeah. Oh my God. Memories, and I know you know memories, Paul. Uh, there's a one guy there. Um, White hair, ponytail dude. He comes to every gig and we don't play there anymore, but comes to every gig from every band that plays there, and he wants to be a rhythm guitarist in every band. And he used to come and ask the Rockin' 45s for a gig playing rhythm guitar. I said, we don't need a rhythm guitar. There's no fucking budget for a rhythm guitar. We don't have any money for any more people. It is what it is. But he did this for years and years. Came to every gig, and every gig begged for a gig with us. Like, no, we don't need you, dude. And then one night, after the gig, he came up and he wanted to criticize the way I played the song "Wooly Bully." He said, you're not playing the full rhythm part there." I said, "No, I'm playing rhythm and lead, dude. I got to make a hybrid part up myself that fits both parts. You kind of understand that. This is what we're playing with." "Well, I could show you how that goes." I said, "What? No, I know how it goes. Where the fuck are you gigging? You come here every every fucking night and beg bands for a gig for 20 years, and then you have the balls to come up and fucking tell somebody how they should be playing shit. Get the fuck out of here. You're a desperate loser." And this is a karaoke people who want to come up. Paul is a fucking great singer, by the way. People don't know Paul J. He's a great singer on Long Island based, but I hear he's kind of branching out to Ohio or something. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. I don't want to get into. I have said that Ohio is a an artistic hub. One of the places where creativity is flourishing in America. Ohio, and several cities in Ohio seem to have it going on. Anyway, Mike Chabot says you still won't let me sing. Then again, that's a really good idea. Actually, we got you. Somebody has you singing on video from a couple of weeks ago. I know you did not know there were video cameras rolling when you did that. It wasn't long, but it actually happened. And if I could dig that out to embarrass you or blackmail you, I will. Venmo me at media1 at optonline .net if you want that video to just disappear. Venmo me $50 today, and we'll just take care of that, and it will be gone forever. I'm kidding. They're actually there it probably is video. Mark Burkhalter has it, and I'll ask him to destroy it for you. Don't worry about it. Free of charge. I'm giving away all the blackmail stuff today. Our dump the blackmail sale only lasts till 10 a.m. today. So if you want me to get rid of your blackmail material, get on it now. Get your requests in now because the big sale is only lasting till 10 a.m. What the fuck is wrong with me today? Anyway, um, so that I feel bad about that rant, but that was a really at the in the moment that it happened. I remember just like I almost wanted to fucking punch his lights out for because it's one thing to say, "Give me the gig, please give me the gig." That wouldn't bother me. And again, the guy's a fucking. He was one of the best musicians I've ever known in my life. But to say your guy sucks and you got to get rid of him, that's low rent, and that hurts. It hurts, and I never told the guy he was talking about that was said about him. But when you hurt my friend, you hurt me. You put down my friend, you hurt me. So anyway, Kiera will be here in a moment or two. I look forward to talking to her every day. She sent me well, first of all, I sent her a picture of Mikey from 1981. She couldn't believe it yesterday. Then she sent me a new artist that I checked out, which I really like. Uh, but I have some questions. The artist name is Melody Gardot. You know Melody Gardot? She seems to be trying to how do I appropriate the image or yeah, the image, the perception, the overall branding of Bridget Bardot, Melody Gardot. Other than that, I mean, the music is good. It's very retro-ish, very Bardot-esque music-wise, but fashion-wise and the look and all the stuff that's in there and the way she's portraying black and white, really sexy blonde images. And the Gardot stuff is so close, Gardot, Bardot. Seems like she's trying to appropriate. Am I even using that word correctly? Who the fuck knows today? I could be fucking saying anything. Um, but that's the only issue I might have with that. But good stuff. Somebody said she has like on the song that I looked at, she had like 3 million downloads on the song, and one of the first comment is, "It's so sad that nobody knows she's this talented and nobody knows this music." Like 3 million downloads is not anything to sneeze at, folks. 3 million people have listened to your, and that's just on YouTube. Not to mention Spotify, Apple Tunes, all that stuff. I don't feel bad for anybody who's got 3 million on a particular song. It's not Taylor Swift numbers. It's not Katy Perry numbers or ridiculous or who was that Korean dancing dude that had like 3 billion, whatever. But that's all shit. The stuff that gets the the stuff that gets those insane numbers is all shit. It's all shitty music. It really is. But I definitely don't have any pity or I don't think any less if somebody's got 3 million. I think if I got 3 million on a single song, I'd be pretty fucking happy on just on YouTube alone. That would mean that would be affirming for me that I did something pretty good. Anyway. Can't judge people by those numbers and stuff. I know people. Had that shit. I remember once I put up a song that ended up getting like 100,000 views or something ridiculous. But within the first hour after I put it up, somebody was trashing me, saying, "Look, you only got 6 views." I think I only put it up an hour ago. I mean, and I don't have like a marketing firm behind me or anything. And the guy was like, antagonizing me. Look at you! You only got 6 views. You suck. People just are too quick to just I don't know, put other people down to make themselves feel better, especially artists. That's a fucked up thing to do. I feel like again, I feel like sometimes the numbers work backwards. The more, and that's not always true, obviously, but the higher the number, when it gets into the ridiculous stratosphere of billions of views, it's probably going to be garbage. Anything that gets that much into the mainstream consumer palette, it's probably going to be pretty shitty. If you look at the numbers there, that's probably pretty true. Speaking of, no, I'm not gonna say that. What the fuck is wrong with me today? Kiara's in the background. I almost said something really inappropriate, really stupid, really mean, and really dumb. Whatever. It's just who I am today. I'm a really stupid, mean, dumb jerk. I need more coffee. I need a lot more coffee. I'm probably gonna I'm gonna bring Kiara and leave her alone. Just leave her to talk to you while I go get coffee in my underwear. Um, yeah, so I'm not wearing any pants. I'm lying. I'm wearing shorts. Anyway, let's bring in Melody Gardot's biggest fan, Kiara. About time you're on the right side.
Hello, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Um, I'm all right. How are you?
I'm all right. Callie wants to know if I'm getting my period live.
Are you?
I don't know. Maybe I'm acting a little weird. I think I spiked my own coffee or something, or something's wrong with me today. I'm just
Spiked it with what?
who knows? Who knows? Evil lurks in the hearts and the minds of men. The shadow does. Anyway, you see, that's what's wrong with me today. I just like break off into tangents like that for no reason. Um, Melody Gardot, you sent me.
Yeah.
Bridget Bardot ripoff. No, oh no. I feel like she's appropriating Bridget Bardot's brand.
Style?
Brand. No, yeah, style, but more than style. Brand. Her whole she she wants people to think, I don't know, with Gardot, is that made up? Is that why, and why not, if you're gonna go that far, why not make it Bardot and like try to tell
Oh,
people
you
you're
think
her
her
daughter.
name
Yeah.
is
Well, it's
made
not
up?
just a name, but look, the images and the black and white blonde on the floor in a short skirt with
Oh.
the whole look of all of it, all the
I just
styling
like
of
that
it.
song. I used to sing it. And I forgot I
Now,
sang it.
where did you learn that song from? Because
I
I
don't
just
know.
mentioned it's not, it's she's not in the stratosphere with numbers. But the first comment below the video is, "I can't believe nobody knows this music. She's so talented." And blah blah
Oh,
blah
I
blah
saw
blah.
that. Yeah. I don't know. I sang it a long time ago and
So it's
I just
old. It's not new.
no.
Oh.
I sang it like my gosh, how old am I? I sang it like 10 years ago.
Whoa! Oh,
Yeah.
so I totally missed about. So yeah, 3 million views or whatever she's got is not a lot for 10 years
I
time.
pick songs that I like to like that I could sing that I like to sing.
Yeah,
I
but
don't know.
when we do
Oh, sorry.
that's fine. It's just one of those days. You can yawn, you could fart, you could do whatever you want.
I have to fart. I don't know what's wrong with my stomach
I
today.
think I think it would be good for the ratings. Could you fart?
It's
But
not
put the
ready.
mic if you got a mic. Anyway, what was it? Oh, the kind of bullshit work that we do. You can't do songs that people don't know. You got to everything we do has to be relatable. You saw when I did the Bing Crosby song, people were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
You
but it
can't.
was cool.
Is
Oh,
that
I
cool?
actually know that
I
song.
thought it was
I know that
doofy.
song. I just no. No. Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
I don't
Why
know.
can't?
Let's ask Paul J if he's still there. Paul, can you do songs that people had never heard before? People don't know what you're doing on a gig. I mean, it's bad enough we throw a few originals at him every one. Mikey's
Well, that's what
been,
I was gonna say. I was gonna say that people do originals all the time, and
but the one they request the most often is "Love Song," and that's because it's dirty. That's the only reason. Because they're a bunch of fucking pigs. They want to see
yeah,
they want to hear the f bomb, and you know me, I'm a prude. I don't like to fucking curse ever.
I know.
I never fucking curse. I hate fucking
Never,
curses.
never.
Yeah. Um.
And they're
uh,
and they're like all horny because they're all drunk and they're
yeah.
all randy and they're all like
The
feeling
first
themselves.
time Mikey never he I played the song for Mikey on a way to a gig. It was just me and him at EB Elliott's, and he said, "Oh, we should do that tonight." And I wrote down the words for him. And the first time we played it, it was acoustically on the deck at EB Elliott's, and a girl was humping his leg during the entire performance. So she was like, she was
Mm,
all over him. And
mm.
so he made me play it 3 more times on that gig. 'Cause he likes
He likes to. Oh yeah,
he likes to be that. Well, of course, he likes to be the center of attention, but he likes women throwing themselves at him too. And this was before he was married to Lydia, so I don't want to get him in trouble with that. But
yeah.
I probably
Women
already
do.
did.
Women do, and it's not just Mikey. It's like every band. Like, oh, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Have some, have some respect for yourself.
Kelly says PT550.
Is that what's that?
That's a dry cleaning number. She's working in a dry cleaner, and every once in a while she forgets she's in a chat room or something, and she types in or uses voice to text, and she's putting in numbers of people picking up their dry cleaning.
Is she really?
Yes, that's a ticket number or something. in
Oh,
in a dry cleaners. This is the kind of day it is here.
I could smell the dry cleaner. Just mentioning it, I could just smell it.
What does it smell like?
A dry cleaner.
I never been in. I know. I mean, I have been in dry cleaners. I just don't know the smell. I guess.
It's a smell. It's a very distinct smell.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever been to the dry cleaners, but my mother used to go. She would wear suits. And I just remember the smell. That and the butcher.
Oh,
Yeah,
the butchers.
yeah, the butcher
Yeah,
smell.
yeah. I'm racking my orders from yesterday. That's what she says.
Mm.
Anyway, I was reading a Facebook rant to the people
Mhm. What is
from
it
me
about?
from me for 8 years ago. Me ranting about
Mm.
we were playing at EB Elliott's full band, and a guy comes in with his bass on his back and walks over to me and says, "Your bass player sucks. You should hire me
Oh.
on the gig." And
Mm.
I was really pissed at him about that. Really, really upset about the whole thing. So I was ranting about that.
Wait, why? Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Because he's saying my bass player sucks. It's not a professional
Did
thing to
he?
do.
Did he suck?
No,
Oh.
it was Bill. He was talking about Bill.
Oh. Oh no.
But it
That's.
doesn't matter if he sucks. It's just
Ugh.
not a professional thing to do. You don't go into somebody else's gig and try to steal it out from underneath them at the gig. One thing to call me up the day after and said, "I was at your gig last night. Man, the bass player wasn't really holding it down. I'm better than him. Maybe you should consider hiring me." That that would be a whole different thing. But to come up to me on the gig in the middle of a song and say, "Your bass player sucks. You should get rid of him and let me play."
Hmm.
You don't
That's
think that's
that's
unprofessional?
that's ballsy. I don't know.
Ballsy?
That's how people get anywhere in life. They take risks
Wow, look
and
at you, you backstabbing bitch. You would do
no,
that? So if a
no.
singer was with the band, right? And she was singing some flat notes or something, you'd go up to the band leader and say, "Your singer sucks, get rid of her and hire me."
I wouldn't do that.
All right.
That's why
Why
I'm
wouldn't
saying
you
it's
do that?
ballsy.
Why would you not do that?
That's why I'm not. That's why I'm not. You know, on television, because the people who take risks like that are the most successful. But
Yeah.
no, Bill's not a sucky bass player, but
No. I'm just a
mm,
drop off, so the only thing that smells is me.
nice.
I think she's drinking the same coffee I'm drinking this morning, which is definitely poisoned with some kind of toadstool mushroom or something. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
that's
I
because you complained to your wife that the coffee was weak last week. So now she put something in it.
maybe
You
she
never
did.
forget.
Maybe she spiked my coffee to fuck with me today.
Mm,
Hmm.
yeah, I think so.
Should I call her? You know what? If I call her, she won't pick up. My wife never picks up if I call. Do you think
I
that's
wouldn't
right?
either if I were your wife. I don't. Yeah,
Why?
I wouldn't,
Why? I
because I
want to
don't.
know
I
why.
wouldn't want to hear you complain.
What makes you think I'd be complaining? Maybe I'd be saying, "Honey, what would you like for dinner tonight? I will get it for you. What would you?" Uh, maybe I'm
No.
calling. Maybe I'm calling to say, I don't know, the family emergency. How could you not pick up when your husband calls?
Is she working?
Yeah,
Well, that's why
that's
she's
not why.
working.
No, when I used to work, she would call and text me all fucking day, and then be her pet peeve was that I was short with her. Like she'd call and I'd be in the middle of a business meeting. She'd ask me what I want for dinner tonight. I'd be like, I can't. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm in a business meeting. How can I be thinking about dinner tonight? And that would piss her off. Like you're, not a good husband.
Mm.
I'm venting
I
here about my
agree.
marital
I agree.
problems. You do? You agree?
Yeah.
What I should in the middle of a business meeting. Hold on, folks. I gotta put everybody in the room. You just sit tight while I
Mm.
discuss dinner tonight with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
I should have done. That would make me a good husband.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm a dick because that doesn't sound like that doesn't I don't doesn't sound right to me. I'm wrong if that's the case. I want to take a poll. How do I take a poll with this dumb?
When your wife calls and asks you what you want for dinner, you have to be specific. You have to be specific.
I want pickled elephant tongues.
Mm. Delicious.
Yeah.
Pickled elephant tongues. Wow. That's out there.
Mike
You must
Mike
be
says that,
high.
but that makes her a good wife. But
Exactly. See? You're
I'm
just
not saying
unappreciative.
I
Oh my
didn't say I didn't
gosh.
appreciate it. All I said was, if I was short and say I don't know, I can't think about it right now. I'm in a meeting. I'll call you back. That made me the bad guy.
Well, if you said I'll call you back,
I
that's
always
a
call you
start.
back. I always call everybody back. I even call you back when I shouldn't.
Mm.
She may have to take something out of the freezer.
Exactly. See, Mike knows. Mike
Mike is
gets it.
such a good wife. I
Such
tell
a
you,
good guy.
I would marry him in a heartbeat.
Mm. I could
Uh,
picture him in an apron just waiting for you to come home. Impatient.
he's just trying to get me to destroy the footage of him singing. Is what he's doing. Anyway, Jamie
Oh,
brought up a story. He thought it had something to do with the abortion issue. It doesn't have anything to do with the abortion issue. Girl, young woman in California had a stillbirth at 8 months old, and the doctor called the police on her, and they charged her with murder
what?
for having a stillbirth. She was carrying it wasn't attempted abortion or anything, but they found out that she was a meth addict. She had meth in her system, and that might have contributed to the baby's death. And they charged her with murder. Now, what's your feeling on that? Before I tell you, because you didn't hear what I had to say about what's your take on that?
How do you know like the story is legit?
Well, I made
It just sounds like
I
something
think that
to
was my first
get everybody revved up and
that was my
yeah.
first inclination, and then he sent me to where I could find it, and I looked it up.
I'll have to look it up too because I don't. Yeah.
The doctor called the police, saying that basically she wanted to charge with murder, and she was charged with murder. Uh, uh, Police showed up at her house with rifles pointed at her and dogs and the whole bit. But she was a meth addict. But And I think
I
that's
don't know.
wrong.
Everybody always twists things. I don't. Anything on the news, I have to look further into and see what's really happening because
How do you
it's.
look further? The only way you can really know is to go there and go meet the people. You're not going to do that with every fucking story.
I give it a day or two. Wait till she's on trial, or wait till she gets to trial and see what really, what really is
Well,
going
it was
on.
a couple of years old. It wasn't recent. It was
Mm.
an older story, but he
It
was
was an
really,
older story,
yeah.
but isn't California like a liberal state?
Yeah, so what?
So they allowed
They
abortions
don't know what.
anyway.
No, it wasn't about abortion. It had nothing to do with abortion. It had to do with he thought it was an abortion related story. It had nothing to do with abortion. It was a stillbirth. She was planning on carrying the baby to, term and giving birth, and the baby died. It was a stillborn. And
So
the
she
doctor was so upset by looking at the fetus, well,
right.
that he called the police and wanted her charged, and she was charged. And I think my take on that is a woman in that position needs compassion. She just lost a fucking child. I mean, meth addict or not, she needs treatment for meth and all that stuff. But you have to have some compassion. See, if you ever know a woman who's had a stillbirth, it's a
Oh my
traumatic
gosh.
experience. It's a traumatic experience. You don't come up and stick guns in their faces and take them to jail. I mean, meth addict or not, it's just that I think we're living in a world that forgets about compassion completely.
Mm.
Anyway, that was my take on it.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I see a bright light in the background not you, down in the green room there. That's where Travis would be, but maybe he's not expecting to be on for another 13 minutes or so because I told him 10 o'clock.
Mm.
Anyway, what's up with you today? You got good news? You got bad news? You got any news? Oh, wait. Mike says he's been married 33 years. He knows the secret. First of
33
all, I
years.
take
Wow.
my bald-headed wig off to you. I actually have a full head of hair under this bald-headed wig. Um, 33 years is incredible. How you could stay with anybody and not kill them in 33 years is a fucking miracle. I would kill anybody in 33 years. I'm
They
ready to
look
kill
happy
somebody in
together.
33 minutes.
I love happy couples that just like Mike and his wife, always
No,
happy.
they go home and plot each other's murder.
No,
They
they
definitely
don't.
do.
Do they
How
really?
else do you stay together? He looks at her and thinks, I got a hot hitman that could poison her. I don't know how. And
Mm.
she's looking at him and like, can't wait till he goes to sleep. I just fucking put the pillow over his face.
That's the secret. That's the secret. Be nice in public and plot each other's murder.
Detour. It's about the drugs in her system that caused the baby's death. Yes, I know. I know that. That's exactly what they were claiming. But
Right. That she was irresponsible and took the
listen,
drugs and
to be a meth addict, you got to be fucked up in the head anyway. It's not.
mm.
I can't understand why anyway, no matter how stupid you are, would try meth because it doesn't even look like a fun drug. Anytime I've seen any examples of somebody on meth, it looks like hell. It looks like you've made yourself a
Yeah.
fucking walking zombie. I saw a girl in an emergency room. She was handcuffed to a chair, but she was beating her head against the wall. She was trying to kill herself, even though she was handcuffed to a chair. That doesn't look like a fun. I don't even call it a drug. It's like fucking doing antifreeze or bleach or something to get
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's So that on that I think she needs some psychological help and counseling and all that stuff as well. But so, maybe I'm just not as full of judgment as everybody else. I don't know.
You're not as
Anyway,
full.
I mean, as far as being compassionate towards that kind of stuff, I don't think somebody like that should be charged with murder. Maybe a negligence or being whatever whatever, a lesser charge than murder by far.
I'm not
And
defending her, but I'm just saying that when you're on drugs, you do anything to get drugs. I mean, the crack babies too. The crack babies that come out and they're craving, they're going through withdrawals.
crack
That's
baby.
terrible too. Yeah, it's terrible.
Is crack still a thing?
Yes.
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
gosh.
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, it is.
You never hear about.
Oh, you see it. When I used to live in Copeg, and it was crazy. I was talking. Oh, here's my spoon. I was
Well,
talking
I
about it
don't
the
hear
other
about.
day.
I'm old and out of touch, but I hear about heroin. I hear about meth. I hear about
It's
ecstasy, Molly, whatever. But I don't hear
prevalent.
about crack as much ever anymore.
Mm,
I thought that was like an '80s, '90s thing, and
there was a
uh,
crack house on my block, so my block was
yeah.
really
But how
long.
long ago? How long ago?
Uh, I lived there in 2018, 19, and
18,
20.
19. Wow.
I lived there. Yeah, 2020. I moved out, but my block was long, right? And if you went one way, it was a nice neighborhood. If you went the other way, it was like crack house central. There was a crack house city. There's a crack house at the end of the block by the 7-Eleven, right? And there was just a bunch of crackheads living in there. And one night after, we didn't have a show at Venetian. I was at Venetian. No, I was at Tanner, listening to music, and I wanted to go get a Slurpee with the kids. So I went to 7-Eleven. It was like 9 o'clock. It wasn't even late. And all the crackheads were in there because
I
they
have a
walked across the
question.
street. And the guy,
Who's the mayor of Crackhead City?
me. And then
You.
so I
You.
was getting, no. And I'm getting a Slurpee for the kids. And this crackhead's behind me and he's screaming in my ear. He's like,
Now wait a minute.
nah.
Did you affirm that it was crack and not meth? How do you know the difference between? How do you know they were crackheads?
Okay. That's a good question.
See, you assumed
But
because
no,
it's part
I
of
don't think
your upbringing that you knew about
but they don't
crackheads.
have meth houses, right? Like
Maybe they do. Well, there's
they have
meth houses.
it's definitely a crack house. You know when someone's on crack. You know how they act when they're on crack.
I don't.
I've seen it way too often. Just
I
I don't think I've ever seen anyone on meth, to be honest, though.
Oh, I
So,
definitely. It's not like as prevalent here as it is in the
but you said
Midwest.
they're zombies, right? Like,
Yeah, they're fucking zombies. They
yeah, well, the
definitely are Walking
crackheads
Dead.
are a little more hyper than that,
Right.
like
Uh,
itchy. No.
Looks like Travis is in the middle of like the brilliant Southwest sun. I know I believe he's in Vegas. He might be in. I know he's out in that area, Pacific Coast time zone. But I'm kind of jealous of seeing that sun that's in the back. Now he's in front of it. Are you ready to meet Travis Lipsky?
Sure.
I'm going to say this. And I've seen, people have heard me say this for days now, but I've had comedians on here who really just beginning out and they have no websites and nothing, no information on the web, and I know nothing about them.
Mm-hmm.
Travis has been in a major, he's been in a motion picture that has been well distributed with some real production stuff. He's an independent filmmaker and a comedian, and I know I know less about him than I know about all those people who are, I don't want to call them nobodies. They're not nobodies, but they have no information about themselves on the web. I know less about Travis than I know about them. I know him from Twitter, and I don't know when he's serious or when he's not serious or what he really cares about or what he really believes, because I think he's antagonistic. Or just looking to get a rise out of people, but we're gonna find out.
Ooh,
I look forward to meeting him and to
that's a
find out who he
bold
really is. Who
statement.
is this guy Travis Lipke, and what's he really all about? Let's meet him now, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome into Coffee with the Dog, Travis Lipke. Travis, you there?
Hey, how's the volume on this?
It's
I haven't
perfect.
used this setup,
It's good.
so just want to make sure it's coming through. I don't want to have
Perfect.
to hold it in front of me.
Oh no, that was fine. Just where you were.
Okay. All right, good. Hey, what's happening?
Good morning.
I'm digging that. You got an early morning sun to your back. You're like an outlaw ready to fight a last showdown with the
I
sun
heard
to
a
your back.
rooster.
That's the way I've felt ever since I was born. My mom was going to actually name me Jesse James, so I would have been Jesse James Lipsky if she had her way. My dad insisted on naming me after a hero, so I was named after William Barrett Travis, who died in the Alamo, of course.
Wow.
Wow.
So, but Jesse James would have fit me better.
Yeah, I
My
think
spirit animal.
Wild Bill Hickok was the guy who was most known for shootouts, though. So, and he was, son to the back type of deal.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I'll try to
but
keep the son of the year.
now you, like I mentioned in my little intro, I know almost nothing about you, man. You're an enigma to me, and I don't know if that's intentional with you. Or do you like to be a man of mystery? Are you just trying to tweak people on Twitter, or are you
Well,
serious about everything you write?
oh well, no, I'm not serious about everything. Just like any other, I don't think anybody on Twitter is that serious except for the ragers. Um, but I thought you were CIA or something?
I worked for the
Something.
CIA when I was a young man.
You
I
don't
was
have
a
any access?
No, no, I never did. I was a courier, and basically, it was a very menial low. Here, take this from point A to point B. Don't open it. Don't look at it. Don't talk to anybody about it.
Or
That was
is that your cover? How can we trust you? How can we
Yeah.
trust anything an ex-CIA
Yeah.
employee says?
That's true.
um.
That's true.
That is true.
I
That
didn't think
is
about that. I just took your word for it, Matt.
well.
Stupid
I
me.
mostly I'm online too much to be doing anything. I'm doing this
I mean,
constantly.
I have a ton of shit online.
Dog art films you have online, but if I
Uh,
look up your name, I get a bunch of other Travis Lipskis.
that's weird. I didn't know there were others.
Yeah.
I should start a band or
Yeah.
a gang or something.
Mm.
Well, now
It's a bunch of Travises.
it's funny you should
Yeah.
say I should start a band because I think last night or the night before, I still have read access to Twitter even though I'm in jail. You posted a picture in the recording studio. Are you a musician or songwriter?
I am not a musician at all. I dabble in the singing, songwriting, but I can't play instrument. I'm trying to again learn the guitar. So I'm trying to learn some 3-chord songs. Trying to learn 3 chords.
Yeah, I did that.
You know what? You can learn the chords. It's a switching in between the chords. That's the hard part.
So
Well,
basically,
when you're
playing.
starting out, you got to not care. This is what I was. If I'm thinking back to when I was 7 years old, and the teacher told me just go for it, and as you're moving around, sooner or later, the movement in between the chords will get it right. Will come. You'll get closer and more accurate, but it's just getting that movement and not really caring too much about being right.
Well, that's really the same for anything, at least for me. It's the performative part in front of others that always kind of stifles me. Like I'm like
Right.
we set up a recording studio for my wife. She's an actual trained singer songwriter. She can sing anything. I can sing. I can belt out songs. I can do Jerry Lee Lewis, things like that, but I'm not a singer. But I would like to learn how to control my voice, because in moments, in zones, I can sing, but I don't have any control of it. It's almost like I accidentally sound good sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like when you play pool and nobody's around and you're hitting the balls right in, and as soon as somebody stands there and watches you for a second, you're scratching.
Yeah, I remember one time being on a diving board and I did like a triple flip and hit the water just perfect, and everybody thought I was a really good diver, and I could never reproduce that ever again. Like if I tried in a million years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I'm in Ukiah, California.
And is that near the border or something?
No, we went to Las Vegas. We hit Las Vegas on our way to California, and we stayed there a few days at a really nice hotel. We stayed at the Trump International. Actually, I have the water bottles to prove it, because they say Trump on them.
Right.
And it's a 5-star hotel. There's no casino in it, which is what I liked. It was 5-star. It was cheaper than the La Quinta or the Comfort Inn, which is a dive. So
It was?
I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it was crazy. It was like less than $100 with valet parking.
That's unusual that they have no casino, because you get 5-star hotels that if they have the casinos that will have rates like that, but the
Right.
reason they have those rates is because they want you to blow your money in the casino. So yeah, come on in, we'll give you a great rate on the night, but you're gonna lose all your money anyway. You're gonna end up paying to the
Yeah.
nose.
Yeah. It was oddly cheap. So we took them up on it, and it was a nice place. And there were racist people from all walks of life in there, from all around the world. It was amazing. There were people from Pakistan, total racist. Um, there are Jamaican racists there. All the racists from all around the
How,
world were there at the Trump International, and we
how
all
did
had a
you
great time
how did you know they were all racist? You got
because
together
they
and
were at
just
the Trump. I'm
oh
joking.
oh
See,
I'm
this is
sorry,
what
it
I
went over
mean.
my head.
This is what I mean by because when I read your stuff on Twitter, I'm
Oh,
like, that's fucking funny. Is he
I just
serious? Is he
oh.
I
serious?
I think for the most part, I'm kind of established as a comedian, and yet I always feel like I'm the one taken literally when I post something.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. No,
but
your humor and again, I haven't seen you perform other than in the movie The Unbookables.
which
Uh,
which doesn't represent me.
right. I
Um,
didn't think I would, and it's such a short sampling that you can't really know somebody's
yeah.
material just
Well,
from.
they shot it in like 2010, so it was like 12 years ago, something like that. Actually, and after we did that, I dumped all that material anyways. That was all the uh, leftover angst, mother, father, rebellious stuff that I was purging out. And so, yeah, it's not even, and I didn't even have really a style at that point. I'd only been doing comedy, I think, uh, 5 years or something in earnest. Yeah.
So, how did you get involved with the group that? And it's not a, Inman likes to talk about the Unbookables like it's a Monty Python troupe, like they were, established group that everybody should associate together. But how did you get
Yeah.
involved in the film?
Um, yeah, we can touch on it, but yeah, Inman is like stuck in, like, he peaked in the Unbookables, I think, in a way, or he feels like that's the key to everything, is the Unbookables. And if only Doug and everybody else would just understand that we just need to ride that Unbookables wave to success on every shore. That
Yeah,
um, and but
yeah.
he did work hard to do it, whatever. But so I got involved just because of being in Doug's orbit via Brett Erickson. Brett Erickson
Ah,
was the one that introduced me to Doug before I'd met Doug, I
wow, that's
guess.
cool. Because Brett brought you up on the last issues with Andy. He was talking about a bit you had about nursing home stuff, and it was pretty good. And I was like, I want to see that now. Is it available online or any of that stuff? Brett is one of my favorite comedians out there. I know he's not like a household name or anything, but the guy makes me laugh. I love the way on Twitter he fucks with somebody who's got the moniker Fact, and he did. It seems to be obsessed with like bullying that Fact guy in a way that makes me
Well,
just.
he used to really revel in grammatical errors and pointing those out. But with today's emoji use, and nobody has any grammar manners anymore, so
Yeah, it's difficult. It really is
he's
difficult.
lost that part of it. I've never laughed at anything Brett said.
That's fucked up.
No,
Um,
no, Brett. I remember. Be honest with you, when I first started I started the same club that I guess he started at in Peoria, Illinois, and he didn't talk to me for like the first year or so, I'm gonna say. I
wow.
guess because I was a newbie or something, but and then I don't know. At some point, we hit it off, and then next thing you know, we were doing gigs together, and I was opening for him. So yeah, Brett and I hung out a lot.
Uh,
Mm.
are you still doing comedy now? Because the last time I saw you were going to do anything comedy related or comedy show was that thing in Kansas City that turned out to be a non-gig, I guess, with Inman, right?
Yeah, it was it's the only paying non-gig I've ever done, and I kind of the feeling was nice in a way. It was nice that at least I got paid for showing up, and there was that much respect happening.
Mm.
But I would have rather have done the show.
I
I
hear you.
came,
Right.
I prepared for a show. I spent the day before on LSD writing new material for the show, and
Nice.
then yeah, it was a big letdown. But that's why. You don't do a bunch of meth right before your 7-Eleven shift starts because you may get
Mm.
called off,
Right.
Yeah.
and
And then
if
Now,
I'll
you're
be
just on
there.
meth.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard right before you came on, but I'm clueless about it. New York doesn't have the same kind of meth problem that the rest of the country has because we have more than enough heroin addicts
Yeah.
and coke addicts. But meth stuff, where you are, big problem out there.
I don't know. I don't really have a community because I move all the time. So the longest I've been in a place for the last 8 years, 9 years, is about 18 months.
Wow, wow,
So
good for
I
you.
see it all over. Um, so you said it's not a problem there in New York. But are you talking New York City or New York?
Well, New York State, and I don't say it's not a problem. It's not as pronounced as the rest of the country
Yeah.
because we heroin is a much bigger
Yeah,
epidemic
I,
here.
I think heroin, the heroin and meth are vying for first place in little towns all over America. That's one of the things that I notice, and even being up in Colorado, I'll be uh, 20 miles outside of Aspen, and it looks like a fucking Sanford and Sons yard everywhere you go. Um, just in some really tweaky, sketchy people. There's a lot of just rundown little towns that are just full of some drug addicted people, and
Wow.
it's weird. It's
I
everywhere.
never get why. I mean, I can understand the lure of a lot of drugs, but meth is again. It doesn't seem like it's even a drug to me. It seems like it's antifreeze that got hard or something, and you're gonna fucking put that in your system. Like what?
Well, I did meth for the. We didn't. It wasn't called meth. It was called crank, and bikers dealt it. And the first time I did it was probably 15. I was kind of hanging around, pseudo working at a dirt car lot on the corner for a bald guy who wore a wig, and he stood about 4'10" in cowboy boots. Walt Collins was his name, and
That's a funny picture right
it's
there.
and yeah, it's more funny than I can describe. Yeah, it was a great great time in my life. But there was a mechanic who could work on diesels. There's a bunch of diesels that were cranked out in like the late 70s, early 80s because of the fuel crisis or whatever, and diesel was cheaper or something maybe. They were cranking out these Oldsmobiles with diesel engines, and they were shit because they broke down and nobody knew how to work on them. But he hired this biker, and biker Dave. It's always something like that, right? So he hired this biker mechanic. That guy knew diesels inside and out, and so he went around to all the auctions, bought up all these diesel cars, and then he sold them to Mexicans on a payment plan. And then they would not keep up with the payments, and he would hire 15-year-olds to go repossess them,
Wow.
and that was one of my jobs
Holy shit.
for him there.
What a
Yeah,
fucking story, man. This is a movie in itself right
but
here.
it was funny because they pretty much they knew the game. They knew if they showed up with a down payment, you know, they were pretty much paying for most of the car at the down payment, to be
Right.
honest with you. And
Yeah.
so that's the hook with all these dirt car lots. They inflate the price to 3 times what they got into it, and your down payment secures a big chunk of it's usually what they've got into it is your down payment, and then everything else is just paying for the lot. But anyway, yeah, they would come in, and you knew you were never going to see those guys again, until you were sneaking through their yard or something and
Wow.
pushing it out of the garage. It wasn't just Mexicans either; it was all sorts of people. There was this small time, little snotty rich kid. Not little; he was actually pretty muscular, but rich kid. That went down there. He bought a Corvette off a wall. It was like a '77 Corvette Stingray or something like that. It had the real curvy body on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was kind of a piece of shit, but it was fun to drive. And he bought that and on payments, and then stopped making payments and just thumbed his nose. He'd like haul ass by the car lot. He lived right up around the corner. It was just weird.
I love that.
So
fuck you, I'm not paying.
right. So one day we're gonna go repossess it, me and Big Bob, and Big Bob's the driver and I'm the stealer. And we pull up. He's at his parents' house, and they have a really nice house, and they're having like a big barbecue pool party. And so you couldn't hear shit. I just backed it down the driveway. It was parked on a steep driveway. Just coasted all the way down. I could have coasted the rest of the way down around the hill, but I wanted to start it up so he could hear it and rev it up. And which I did, obviously. And then he came flying around and down the car lot. It was crazy times, but really I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a good adventure for a young man.
Yeah, I mean, imagine being a 15-year-old boy and
Right,
getting to do all this crazy shit. I mean, I was stealing cars and getting paid. Very little, but I was getting paid, and I was stealing cars before that and not getting paid. So it was definitely a move up in the world.
Oh yeah.
And I wouldn't say I was stealing cars like I took them to a chop shop. I was wheeling and dealing. I would fall down drunk, be stuck on the far end of town, and I used to steal bicycles to get back across town. And then one day it occurred to me I could just steal a car and not have to pedal so much.
Wow.
And so a lot of cars were easy to hotwire then. And so or sometimes people would leave their keys in it. I mean, people left their cars unlocked. There wasn't all these power locks and all that crap, so people don't want to go around, hit every lock on the fucking car. And so, yeah, I used to do that all the time. And I just take it somewhere to where I need to go, and then I leave it. So I borrowed.
There's no money in that.
Unauthorized borrowing is what I was into.
Yeah. And you know what? Those people, always, when they get their car back, it's always an adventure. Like, what did he do in this car?
Well, it's true, and then you wonder, oh, gee, is there a karmic debt for this?
Yeah.
And there was a point where I hit the wall or the telephone pole, but it paid for all my sins. But yeah, it was it's crazy. Yeah, I never thought for a minute. I mean, now if that happened to me, I wake up, my fucking car's gone.
Yeah.
That could fuck up your day, and plus,
happened to me once. I had somebody steal my car. It was years and years ago, and I didn't even care. The car was such a piece of shit. I just said, you know what, just declare it stolen and get another one.
Yeah. Well, when I started working for the things I had, and then I had a toolbox stolen from me. Had a lot of nice tools in it, but I didn't get mad because I already knew. I was like, I owe all this shit. So
yeah.
How can I get really pissed off? So I just moved on, bought more shit.
I was extremely jealous of you, and I don't know if this is still the case, and I don't know if I fucking imagined it at this point. But
I can't imagine someone being jealous of me.
Well, around that time that the Kansas City non-show that you got paid for, it looked like you had a studio on wheels with a stage built on the back of it. Am I remembering that correctly?
Oh yeah,
That's
yes,
fucking hot, man. That's my dream, is to be able to pull up anywhere and just do a show. Because Kiara and I did a show in a parking lot the other night. That
yeah.
would have been much more preferred, just to be able to
Ah,
pull up my
well,
Yeah.
you
van.
should have bought it. I just sold it.
Oh,
Um,
really? Wow.
yeah, yeah. That's what I set it up for, and it didn't get much use, but we did. There was a recording set up inside so that she could record her music. Um,
Wow. And a stage on the back of it. So
a
like a stage
stage
that,
on the back, so it was all wired for sound. I also did my video editing in there. That was all set up. I had a desktop computer that Inman actually built for me.
oh boy.
It's kind of a piece of shit, but it's doing the job right
You
now.
don't even know computers, man. I can build a computer for you and then it won't work.
Mm.
Jim has a gift for pretending that everyone else is a dumb shit.
Yeah. But every time he came on the program or other programs that I got him on, he always had technical issues. I like, who thought you were the computer guy? You're the one guy who has problem hooking up
I
StreamYard.
know, God,
I know, man. It's
this is
fucking.
obsoletist shit, man. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiara has not met Inman, but she wants me to get him back on the program. We're not speaking. He's got me blocked. I got him blocked. Whatever.
Oh,
So I can't get him back on the program. I don't think I'm ready for that anyway.
yeah,
He's really an intense guy.
yeah.
Real, very intense. So, but with that, so you just sold it, because that, to me, that was that's my. I would love that. I don't know, but to me, that's the life I want, is to be able to just to go
Oh,
and
I
do
had
shows.
a much bigger, more ambitious idea years ago, and I still would love to do it. It'll probably never happen. I wanted to just have a band of people um, going around doing vaudeville on the road.
Yeah, that's cool. I
So
would love
all,
that.
I mean, literal vaudeville. You know, could be animal acts, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and
Jugglers, yeah.
set up a show, arrive in a town, and then, uh, 24, 36 hours before the show, be out getting the word spread around, obviously using social media, and just doing shows and then going to another town. So stand-up comedy, singing, dancing, magic, all of it. Whoever wanted to do it. It's just hard to get people to do shit like
Yeah,
that.
and those different kind of acts are few and far between. Now, I'm sure they're out there, but I'm not exposed to them that much. I don't know where they hide. But those kind of unusual acts that America's Got Talent finds, I guess now.
Yeah,
That's what
I
they're
mean, I
doing.
think it'd be a really great idea, but I could see that at one point I would just hate it, and but I think I would never regret doing it.
You get bored easy with what you're doing.
Well, not bored, frustrated in some ways. I don't know. And sometimes you do something you think's a great idea, like the Unbookables, and you think it's a great idea at the time, and then I thought doing stand-up comedy was a great idea at the time
As a
I
filmmaker,
started.
do you think, or do you know? I would say no, that you could have done a better job with the idea of the Unbookables. Now, I'm not asking you to trash the film, but I do think, as a filmmaker, I
No, I
think I
mean, could I have done better with the footage?
just,
I don't know.
or no, just told a better story with it, because it doesn't seem to have much of a narrative. It's
Well,
like,
there's not really a narrative. That's the whole thing. It's not unique. It's just a bunch of 40-year-olds who just don't get it,
yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. It's we're just drunk, being fucking idiots on the road. I don't try to get people to watch it.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
it's
I know.
it's a double-edged sword. What one edge is a butter knife, and the other edge is a razor blade. And the razor blade isn't the good side.
Yeah.
So while I still own up to it and hope that it would, maybe it'll help me get a gig
Yeah.
or something, but I don't find that's the experience. Hey, I was in the Unbookables. What the
Right.
fuck is that? Who cares?
Yeah.
Uh,
So tell me about filmmaking though, man. Dog Art Film.
Filmmaking. Okay, so I started on the stand-up comedy. Here's what I meant about the stand-up comedy. I I fell into it. There was an open mic. I went to it and I was like, fuck, I'm funnier than that guy. And so I went to the MC, Lenny. He announced an open mic. And I was like, oh, how much does that cost? He goes, it's free. I go, what? I can just come here and get on stage and say whatever I want. Uh, and he's like, yeah. So I did it and it went well. And then, so obviously I was hooked. And then I thought, well, if I could just be a feature act, that would be the best, then I've made it, get paid. I'll open up for the comedian. And that's what I worked towards. And I got that. And then I was like, that wasn't that great. What if I could headline? If I could just headline a show, that would be the best thing in the world. And I headlined a few shows, and then I was doing stuff on the road and doing those, like, I don't know, Wednesday through Sunday or Thursday through Sunday. There were a lot of days there, and doing a early show and a late show, and I hated it. I did not enjoy it. But that's who I was at the time. Would I like it now? I don't know. Probably still not. I just don't. I can't make it fresh for you at 10:30 after I just went through it at 8.
Right. Yeah.
So I've got to do a different set, which means then you got to try to cram another set into your head. And so I didn't have any fun in between time. I had fun on stage. For sure. But in between time was just fucking nerve wracking.
Yeah. I
I
get
was
that.
I was writing, going through. I carried around. I had like a briefcase of all my notebooks, and then in the room, I would just go to my room, and the shit would be everywhere, and I'd be taping it to walls, and I'd be like, "You got to do it. You got 2 sets tonight. We got to get 2 different sets." It's fucking just driving myself nuts. But when I first shot a trailer, I wrote a script, and then I thought, I'll shoot the trailer for the script, and then the world will beg me to make the movie. And so I got some other comedians to be the actors. I actually hired like a guy that was working for the local news station, and he worked camera, and his girlfriend worked sound, and I shot some scenes and edited it. And I was pretty interested in pursuing that. But then fast forward a couple years or so, I was in Seattle. I was shooting a TV pilot that I had written and produced, and with Jeff, the Unbookables director. And people ask me why would you make that with Jeff? And I said, nobody else gave a fuck. No one else wanted to do it. He thought it was a good idea, and so we did it. And I produced it. I tracked down like this 76 Camaro, talked the guy into letting me borrow it for nothing. And I kind of produced most of it, and cast it, and then we shot it. And the only problem with it is I was one of the actors in it.
Oh.
I was the main character, and I didn't want to be, but we just never found a guy because we weren't paying for actors. And but what I discovered is the process of doing that is that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That's the
Really?
thing that, and by then I had already shot some stuff and edited. But what I liked about the process is so unique to filmmaking, because you start out with the idea, and then it changes in the script, and then it changes in the different versions of the script. Then you hire, well, you start doing pre-production, you start casting, and then you're like, I like this guy for this, or you're like, or you think it's one way, and then you cast somebody and you go, you know what, I can tailor this to him and it's going to be a much better character. The whole thing just keeps evolving, and then you're in the actual shooting of it, and you're doing the takes, and whatever comes up, obstacles in the way, you can't shoot or something, this scene, now you got to do it a different way, and you got to figure it out right then, because people are standing around getting paid to shoot. And even if they're not getting paid, you're you're there on a mission to shoot these scenes to get this thing done. And then you get it in the can, and then you're in the edit room, and it's evolving in the edit room, just as much as any other part of it. And you get to the end of it when you're finally done, and then you do something creatively new. You don't go, okay, for my next movie I'm going to do the same exact movie, and I'm going to hit all the same beats. And that was the thing I realized, that I will always probably do stand-up comedy, but it's never going to be the thing that I'm driven to do. And I wasn't driven to, like, if I did stand-up comedy in Peoria for over 12 years probably, and I mean overall 15 to 20 years, but actually living in, if I didn't live in that town, I wouldn't have drove there to do stand-up. It was a 10-minute drive from my house. So I definitely didn't have that passion, like I got to be on stage no matter what, and hit every open mic in the 250-mile radius. So filmmaking is the thing for me. I've always been a writer, and there's nothing more rewarding, I think, than writing a script, producing it, and having actors perform the script, and it's good. And what I guess the validation you get from stand-up comedy is different with film, but when you cast something and you cast quality actors and they're willing to work at a rate that is, subpar, 150, like our last film, the highest I paid per day was 400 a day.
Wow.
And this is for an actor. Well, yeah, but this is a guy that was on major studio films. He was punching Paul Rudd in the face in the movie Ant-Man. He was on HBO's Ballers, and not as like a background actor,
Right.
So he did a lot of stuff. He just got done doing, or I don't know if he's still doing it. There's The Rock Dwayne Johnson has a TV show about his
I'm so fucking
childhood or something.
clueless
I don't know.
with pop culture. I wouldn't know. You could tell me anything, and I would think,
it was great to have people come on, do it for less than they normally would, because on the strength of the material, and that they also don't always get the opportunity to do the kind of things that I write. I write like it's a feature film. I can't write, teenagers in a house getting scared, or out in the woods or shit. I like a lot of things going on in a movie. I like a Tarantino movie, or any major, good movie, Goodfellas. I like big movies and a lot of moving parts in it, and so that's what I always write. And so I write these parts that would look really good on their reel, and so I think that's how was able to snag so many good actors.
The reel you have looks really impressive. Look-wise, cinematically wise, I'm impressed with it. Of course, I haven't seen the full stories on any of the films, so I don't can't comment on that. But the look of the reel that you put out really is impressive, and congratulations on
Well, I think most of what I put out as a finished product is cinematic. It's missing key things like recognizable faces, which does a lot for you. Copyrighted music, which helps set an emotional
definitely.
tone.
But I think that's a crutch for a lot of filmmakers.
Oh yeah,
You know?
yeah, and it's one of well, I love editing the music, and so a lot of the time is spent researching the free music archive. The music isn't free per se, but the archive is free, and there's just tons of independent artists from around the world on there, and you can spend a lot of time going through all the music that's on there and you'll hear a lot of garbage, but you just click on the next one, click on the next one. But I found a lot of really good music that I've used in all my projects, and people always like, oh, the soundtrack was so good. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But I look at like a Scorsese film like Goodfellas, and people rave about Goodfellas, and I do think it was a great movie. But I think if you took out all of the pop music that was really instrumental in making that film what it was, and replaced it with independent rock stuff, you'd have a much lesser or less popular movie. A lot of people wouldn't be as gaga about it as they still.
I have to argue against that. I think the
No,
cinematography and the acting,
it was a good
this
film. It was a good
uh,
film.
Take
uh,
out the piano solo from Layla as Frankie Gordon was hanging in the meat truck, and replace it with one of my songs, and take a look at it and say, it's not the same thing.
well, you could say it's not the same thing, but you don't have the benefit of not knowing what it was the other way.
Right, that's true. But
Um,
I know when they produced it, Scorsese was all over the script saying, "Write down,
oh yeah, I
Sunshine
mean,
of Your Love
he's a
here."
very methodical filmmaker for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Um, but I also don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, everybody's trying to elicit emotion from everybody, even if you're just at the fucking grocery store and you're putting on your fake
I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with
manners.
it, but what I'm saying for independent filmmaker, you don't have the luxury of contracting all that because there's a lot of fees on music if you compile all those songs that
Oh
are in
yeah,
there.
yeah. I looked into a couple of things early on. Being new and having no idea. And,
Right, and
yeah,
you end up spending more on the music than you do on the actors, the film, the editing, all of that.
yeah. I never spent any money on music. I found good music. A lot of times, um, it's music that they put out 7, 8, 10 years ago. I found a really unique piece that was part 8-bit digital music. Some guy over in Europe who's pretty popular at raves or something. Uh, but he did a piece that was real jazzy too. It had a lot of saxophone and then a lot of weird kind of bloop, 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 that just all worked together and really helped sell the gang stalking short film I did. It just really worked with the weirdness of the project, but a lot of times music will guide my cut. So yeah, if I could use a famous song, I for sure would. And I
Yeah.
don't. To me, I don't care if somebody's purposely putting it in to elicit that emotion. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Um, it just it's like putting anything else on film, and you use all the tools you can. But that's why I want to make films. I want to manipulate your emotions in a way. I don't, not in a sinister way, but I want you to laugh at
Of
the
course,
funny
yeah, I
things I
get it.
wrote, the way the actor said the things that I wrote, or or even if he's inspired and riffs off of that into improv, and it's funny and people laugh. I wrote it to make you laugh. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
And so when I choose music, I'm trying to, if it elicits an emotion in me, if I'm like, fuck, this is a really good song, or this would be perfect for it. When I found the piece for the reel, I'd gone through 87 of these guys, this one particular artist's songs. But when I hit on that one, immediately I knew. I was like, oh, that's great. That's a great cinematic reel piece of music. And
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get, I definitely understand that. And along those lines, the difference between people appreciating your work online when you're a filmmaker and the old-fashioned way, like directors used to, when they'd have their screening, stand in the back of a theater and see those people's reactions. Have you had that experience of doing a screening and being able to
uh,
see elicit your the emotion you were trying to elicit with that piece of film actually
right.
work?
Well, yeah. And what I did was I was in LA. I was working on films like everybody does for free, 12, 15-hour days. I wanted to learn. So, I mean, that's why people do it. They want to learn, or, well, a lot of people want to try to latch on to somebody. But I, I wanted to learn how to talk, how to communicate, how to run a film set, not a commercial, not some fucking kid video thing, but like an actual film set. We'll, use all the lingo, all the nomenclature, all that. And so I got lucky. One of the first ones I worked on, I got to assist in almost all the departments. So I got to be just the guy with the coffee, or just the guy keeping the doors shut, or just the guy yelling quiet around the set, or then helping set up for shots. Did some art department work. Got to be in the room while they were shooting the scenes. The first one I did, it was actually it was Jason London, who's famous for being in Dazed and Confused, and Monty Markham, and he must have
I know
been
Monty Markham.
okay. He did all those disaster movies in like the 80s, the early
Yeah.
80s or late 70s, and then he also like he would be one of those actors that was do one episode of Murder She Wrote, and then the Rockford Files and all that, and so you knew who he was just by his face, and real nice guy. It was just fun to hang out and watch the whole thing go down. And so I had fun doing that. I got sidetracked, sorry. And so anyway, I decided if I stay in LA, it's going to take me 10 years, if not more, to make a film. I wanted to do a film, and I wanted to do a feature length film. So I wanted to find out how bad I really wanted to do it. Do I want to make a movie, or do I just want to? There's a difference. And so I set a date to leave LA, go back to Peoria, Illinois, where I knew I could get all of my locations for next to nothing, or probably nothing. And I set a budget for 15 grand. No idea how I was going to get the money. I wasn't working because I was working on films. And so I started casting. I cast from Chicago and St. Louis via email videotapes. And I cast the whole thing. When I got to Peoria, I was shy about $11,000 of the 15, and I already spent $3,000 on it in pre-production. I rented a house to put the cast and crew that were from out of town in. Some I had to put in a hotel, set all that up, and then about 4 days before we started shooting, I got $8,000, and then we were in the money, started shooting. I went back, got a couple more grand, and we shot the majority of this. What was the question?
I got me forgetting now.
So anyway, so we shot this whole thing. The important part for me was that we have good acting, good
Right.
actors,
Right.
and all the ones I paid for were good.
So
There's
is
some
that
actors.
the money, is that the biggest challenge that you face in being an independent filmmaker, is
Uh-huh.
getting
Yep.
that's the biggest part of it.
There's no other challenge to me in filmmaking, because like uh, we shot a film in Santa Cruz, um, and I needed a location for the next day. I stop in a motel. They got a pool like I needed. We're shooting the scene around a pool, and so I just go in and I talk to the owners, and next thing you know, I'm leaving, and I've got a location locked for the next day. Um, that's that's just fun work.
Right, but I gotta ask you this because you say that's the only challenge. I have a friend who's doing something, and his biggest challenge is the cinematography. Like, he knows what he wants to shoot, but to get it on film the way he sees it in his head is a challenge for him, and I know that's true. And so I've always encouraged him to work with a professional cinematographer, somebody who knows how to shoot, and you can explain your idea to him. Now, are you in charge of all the cinematography? Are you working with somebody else?
I shot like 75-80% of the first one. I did hire a camera guy. I would pay him at the end of the night, and then he got sick the next day. He was had some drug issues, so he'd show up the next day, and he just wasn't worth a shit. So I said, just leave your gear, and I'll shoot it. And that's the way I ended up shooting most of it. I hired a cinematographer for my first one because I was like, I'm doing it right, and I'm getting a camera. I'm getting a cinematographer. I had to say cinematographer every time. I couldn't just say
Right, yeah.
cameraman.
You can't just say
And
cameraman.
so I said, I'm going to get a cinematographer, and I'm going to get it. And he's got to have a red camera. Like I thought the red camera, everybody was,
Right.
you got to have a
Technology.
red. You got to have the red. So I got this guy out of St. Louis, and he had a decent website. He didn't really have much of a reel, but I'm like, he's got the red camera. He calls himself a cinematographer. And so I brought him up there. He's staying in the house with us, and I had to fire him after the first day of shooting. He didn't know how to use the red camera. It was the first edition, I think, red camera, and it was clunky. It would just short circuit. He knocked it off of the dolly. He was just fumbling around, being nervous, and
Oh my.
the main thing for me though that really made me mad is he showed up. We I wanted to shoot as wide as possible. That's the way cinema is shot, is in a wide lens.
Right.
And he said, "Oh yeah, I got it." He goes, "I'm going to go to the house, and get the rental house and get the lenses for it." Well, then he shows up and he says, on the day, and he's been locked in for at least a month. And on the day, he says, "Oh yeah, I got to use these Nikons." And he goes, "It's gonna crop it a little bit." So he puts it on the camera, and now I have this. I have a third of the image that I want,
Yeah.
and I was like, holy fuck. So we got to have the camera so far back, which changes all the lighting. I had dressed sets, painted walls, um, moved in all the furniture, and I had planned for a wide, using my camera on my phone. I could kind of plan my shots that way. That's about what it's going to look like on a wide lens. And so now I had this really cropped image close in. And so those things together, so I looked at the footage the next morning. I said, "Let me see this footage," and he couldn't even show me the footage because he didn't bring, because red cameras have their own codec,
Right.
and so you can't just plug it into your laptop and watch it. So I had to go through whatever I had to go
You have to
through.
get an HDMI cable from the camera to a monitor or something to watch.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
So I'm watching the footage and the outside night footage. I mean, we shot until 2 a.m. And that wasn't good. It didn't look good. And I fired him. and we were shooting that day at 4 o'clock. I fired him in the morning. I consulted with a couple of the, actors that I trusted, and they were like, well, maybe give him a chance, but go with your gut. And I said, well, all right, I'm going to fire him. And
Good for
so
you.
I
You did
went
the
and
right thing.
I bought a $600 Canon at Best Buy. And then I bought a $400 Rokinon Cinelens 35 millimeter from some kids off of Craigslist. I met them at the McDonald's to do the deal, and
Drug deal.
and then I was back in business. And there's a film. Every city has like a film commission. It's usually somebody who was associated with filmmaking at some point, and so now they try to get kind of help support things locally. And so I ended up with this guy sending me a camera dolly, a professional camera dolly.
Wow.
And I got a jib, a 12-foot jib. So you get those like crane shots panning down from the rooftop. You can push in.
But
And
you
so
got to know how to work those things. We have to say goodbye to Govs